Sooners of Oklahoma. Brought to you by Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst is brewed to be the best. Natural with no artificial ingredients, and you can taste it.
And by these fine Indiana State University boosters, the Amex Coal Company, Wendy's, the Indiana State Bank, Meese, Lawn and Garden Tractor Sales, Forest Shear Insurance, Willis Marvel's Appliances, Terre Haute First National Bank, MAB Paints, the Pfister Agency, Wabash Valley Kentucky Fried Chicken Stores, Mace Service, and your Terre Haute Coca-Cola bottler.
Basketball tournament continuing, Midwest regional action, and hello to you, I'm Jay Randolph to call the play-by-play as Indiana State and Oklahoma are getting set for action. Alongside to analyze the action of the NCAA tournament, a former All-American himself, Gary Thompson. First of all, let's tell you that Arkansas has won its way into the Midwest regional final here tonight. A victory this evening, 73-62 over Louisville. It was quite a ball game. Arkansas built up a 16-point lead at one point, but then Louisville came back to take the lead. Now let's talk a little bit about the question at hand. Can Indiana State beat Oklahoma here tonight? There is Indiana State's record, still unblemished, 30-0. The victory 86-69 over Virginia State, and that got them here against Oklahoma. Now 21-9. Oklahoma at Dallas last weekend, 90-76 over Texas. And Gary, let's have you talk about a couple of the players we'll be watching.
All right, first of all, for Oklahoma, a sophomore penetrating guard, Raymond Whitley. A fine penetrator, only a 10-point scorer on the season, but the last 3 ball games has averaged over 20, including 25 in the win over Texas. For Indiana State, who else but the Bird, Larry Bird, everybody's player of the year, the nation's second leading scorer, averaging 28.6 a game, the nation's 4th rebounder, averaging 15 a game.
The coaches for Oklahoma, Bliss, an Ivy League guard. There he is, a man who has rejuvenated the basketball program at Oklahoma, has the team in the NCAA tournament. And on the other side of the ledger, the coach of the year in college basketball, Bill Hodges, 36 years of age last week, and a man, of course, who has got his team with that undefeated record. We'll be back and bring you the starting lineups right after this timeout. All right, now we're going to have the introduction of the starting fives and the PA announcer, John Perrin.
From the Riverfront Coliseum. Here are the lineups for tonight's basketball game between Indiana State University and the University of Oklahoma. For the Sycamores at forward from East St. Louis, Illinois, number 42, Alex Gilbert. For the Sooners at forward from Bloomington, Indiana, number 42, Terry Stotts. The other forward for the Sycamores from Rushville, Indiana, number 40, Brad Miley. For the Sooners at forward from Lima, Ohio, number 35, John McCullough. For the Sycamores at center from French Lick, Indiana, number 33, Larry Bird. The Sooners at center from Deerfield Beach, Florida, number 24, Al Beal. For the Sycamores at guard from Warsaw, Indiana, number 23, Steve Reed. For the Sooners at guard from Buffalo, New York, number 10, Aaron Curry. The other guard for the Sycamores from Chicago, Illinois, number 22, Carl Nix. For the Sooners at guard from Indianapolis, Indiana, number 22, Ray Whitley. And now the head coach of the Sycamores, Coach Bill Hodges. And the head coach of the Sooners, Coach Dave Bliss.
Bring you the opening tip-off right after this message. officials, Charles Range out of the WCAC and the WAC, Bill Robinson from the Big Ten, Rich Ballesteros from the Big Ten and the WCAC, which is the West Coast Athletic Conference. San Francisco and Pepperdine involved in the tournament earlier, and even still, of course, San Francisco in it. Ready to go, Oklahoma in white, and in the powder blue, Indiana State gets the tip. 23, Steve Reed, guarded by Whitley. Bird being guarded by Stotts of Oklahoma. Man-to-man, foul called, 42, Alex Gilbert. Oklahoma opening in a man-to-man, Gary Thompson.
Yes, they got Stotts on Larry Bird. That's interesting. I was wondering which way they were going to cover, with the big man or McCullough go with a little quicker man, try and deny him and keep the basketball away from him.
Whitley bringing it down. Stotts off to McCullough. McCullough from Lima, Ohio. Stotts takes the jumper. In and out. Battle for a foul on Beal. Al Beal going for the rebound. Number 1 on Beal.
That's been a key for Oklahoma. You're looking at the big guy, Al Beal. He's had problems with fouls, getting into early foul trouble. As of late in the tournament stretch, he's kept out of foul trouble. Oklahoma's been playing great basketball.
Nix, Reed, Bird, Miley, and Gilbert for Indiana State. Curry, Carabine, not in there, but Whitley, Beal, McCullough, and Stotts going for the Sooners. Now this is Bird, guarded by Stotts. Missing. Bird battles, goes, gets the rebound, and gets it back out to the little guy, Reed. Back to Bird. Bird back out to Reed. Oklahoma man-to-man. The shot by Bird.
Super shot by Larry Bird right there. You see why he's the All-American? He had to put a little extra arch on that. He arched it high, got it down inside.
Beal is called for traveling. The turnover is the first of this ball game.
I think right there, if Al Beal is going to have Larry Bird covering him inside, he'd be better to try and make some power moves early, maybe try and get some fouls on Bird. Keep in mind, though, Bird has only fouled out one time this season. That was against New Mexico State when they won in overtime.
This is Brad Miley getting it over to Steve Reed. Bird underneath Miley. Miley traveled. So the turnovers are even. Indiana State in an early lead. Oklahoma, the Sooners out of the Big 8. Indiana State, the Missouri Valley Conference. Sycamores average 88.2. And there is their coach, Bill Hodges. Oklahoma, 74.2 is an average on the season. Stotts over to Beal. Beal loses it. Ball belongs to Oklahoma. The Sooners look a bit ragged here in the opening moments.
Jay, I think one of the key for Oklahoma is going to be they have played against the zone, which has been passive defense. They haven't been against a tough man-for-man for a while. The Sycamores play half-court man-for-man pressure. Now is their thing. Get good judgment on the shots and have some patience.
McCullough driving in, shoots over Bird. Rebound taken down by Alex Gilbert. Indiana State moving left to right here in the first half.
Bird intimidated that time of McCullough. McCullough shot that ball extra fast.
Traveling, charged against Bird. Turnover number 2 against the Sycamores. Indiana State's opponents have averaged 72.8. Oklahoma's 70.5. From the field, Oklahoma shooting 50.2, and Indiana State shooting 50%. Dave Bliss, an all-Ivy guard at Cornell. Curry guarding, going against Reed.
Good shot under pressure by Curry. That's the kind of play I'm talking about. In that instance, that wasn't the kind of shot I think you'd be getting against this tough defense right away. Curry can jump. He went up over the top.
Nix from 25, banks it off the glass. Whoa!
Well, the thing I liked about Nix, he didn't even smile, because I don't think he had any idea of putting it off the glass.
Whitley getting it to Stotts. Stotts into Beal. Beal back to Stotts. Stotts makes a nice move, takes the jumper and hits it.
Good job by Terry Stotts. You notice the pass into the center to Beal, and right away, Oklahoma kids will always fade to the shooting spot, and he got the defensive man to commit, had the wide open jumper.
The Indiana Sycamores averaging 49.5 rebounds a game. Bird comes up short. McCullough rebounds. Score tied at 4. McCullough comes down. The ball out of bounds off the leg of Larry Bird.
That last possession on defense by Oklahoma, I think that's the way you're going to have to play Indiana State and Larry Bird. One-on-one against Bird. Let him get whatever he's going to get, but do not let him make the great feeds and get the 90% shots inside to Miley and Gilbert.
That pass came to Whitley. It was knocked out of bounds by Nix. And again, Oklahoma will put it in play. McCullough, the trigger man. McCullough to Beal. Got it. Nice move by Beal. Oklahoma club that has played together and played very well in recent weeks. Oklahoma leading 6-4 in the early going. 16.5 minutes to play, first half. Bird for Miley. Picked up now by Nix. Nix in the lane. Gets it. Oh, fine move. Carl Nix, the junior from Chicago.
Okay, McCullough would have had an interception on Bird that time. He's been looking. You got to take the ball.
Just underneath there.
Off the ball.
Whitley getting it to Beal, but Al could not convert. Score tied at 6. Miley for Indiana State. The Sycamores from Terre Haute, Indiana, undefeated, 30-0, playing before 17,000. The Riverfront Coliseum sold out here, traveling, and turnover number 3 against Indiana State.
You're going to see Oklahoma in a very passive defense. As you look at the crowd there, 17,000 strong in Riverfront Stadium, but they're going to be passive. Miley is not an outside shooter. Steve Reed does not shoot outside very much. He can shoot it, but he's content to pass and be the quarterback.
Curry took one from 17 and missed, and here come the Sycamores. 15:40 to go in the first half. Steve Reed for Indiana State. Down to Miley. Back out it comes to Gilbert. Now it is Reed from 20. McCullough gets the rebound. McCullough for the Sooners. The most valuable player in the Big 8 this year. Pass under for Beal. No. Is the basket good? I think they've called a foul. No basket. Foul on Beal, pushing off.
Beal is really hot on this play. One of their favorites, McCullough right there. Beal goes up over, stuffs it in. They call it on Beal coming over the back of Larry Bird. Timeout called on the court. 15-19 to play. First half, Oklahoma and Indiana State tied up here in Cincinnati at 6. A look at the player of the year, Larry Bird from the beautiful little community of French Lick, Indiana. Nice place to play golf, and he played a lot of basketball, though. Yes, I tell you, the great thing about him as a scorer, that he may be one of the best passers ever to play the game. What we've got right here is a technical foul on Beal hanging on the rim. As we went away from the action for that commercial, the technical was called, and rightfully so. Bird gets it. Indiana State takes a 7-6 lead. The Sycamores have the basketball. Number 22, Carl Nix, tremendous athlete. He has his left hand taped up. Bird, of course, playing with that fractured thumb. All that he can have on by the rules, too, is just a little sponge and some tape. Cannot have any hard surface or plastic on that thumb injury. Bird put up the shovel shot. It was tapped in by Miley, I believe. Brad Miley. 9-6. Indiana State by 3. Miley gets credit for the bucket. The Sycamores go to the hoop well. Well, they do, and their pressure defense is tough on the half court. They do not press that much, but they are awfully aggressive down here. Curry banks it in. Oh, an excellent move by Curry. Aaron, a senior from Buffalo, New York. Well, Whitley has been real hot for the Oklahoma Sooners. I think that's a good matchup going to Curry against Steve Reed. Terry Stotts guarding Larry Bird. Stotts from Bloomington, Indiana. Oh, it's two Indiana boys out there, Bird and Stotts. Bird underneath for the dunk by Alex Gilbert. 11-8, 3-point Indiana State lead, 14-10 to go in the first half. McCullough making a move, holds on, Stotts. Back to Curry. Whitley from 20, got it.
Raymond Whitley. You mentioned Whitley, Gary. He's really come on in his scoring in recent weeks.
Well, he has, averaging over 20, as you mentioned, 25 against Texas in their 90-76 win.
Indiana State up by 1, 11-10. Bird from 17, 2 points. 5 points for Larry Bird, 13-10, the Sycamores. John McCullough. Bring it around to Aaron Curry. Curry forced that one a bit. Stotts battles for the rebound, tapped out. Whitley has it. Whitley trying to get it into Stotts. Bird comes away for Indiana State. Long pass to Reed. McCullough comes up and brings it back. That's the 4th turnover against Indiana State. 2 for Oklahoma. 13-10 to play. McCullough to Stotts. Back out to John McCullough. Fires from 25. Rebound Curry. Out to Whitley. Whitley to Beal. Back to Stotts. Puts it up from 17. McCullough tapped it in.
Good tip by McCullough, but I really feel Oklahoma right now is playing a little out of their tempo. They're playing a little bit quicker than they normally have, and that last shot by McCullough from outside, a little further out of his range than normal. They are perimeter shooters, but I think they're rushing and hurrying things against the Indiana State defense right now.
Bird working on Stotts. Underneath. Foul. Pass went to Alex Gilbert. You can see, if you haven't seen Larry Bird before, what a brilliant, brilliant all-round player he is.
Watch this action right, Bird, by Larry Bird right here. I think this is where you have to be alert. You can't come over to help. See Al Beal coming to help off. Got to give Larry Bird his, because he's going to kill you with those 95, 99% shots or those drop-off feeds. Alex Gilbert on the line.
The foul was charged to Curry. Substitution into the ball game for Indiana State, number 30, Bob Heaton, the junior from Corey, Indiana's Clay City High School. Heaton averaging 7.2 a game. Steve Reed going out.
Keep in mind, Alex Gilbert on the line, only 28% from the foul line this year. Poor free throw shooter. You got to keep that in mind if you're in a foul situation and need to foul somebody.
The Sycamores shooting 66% at the line as a team. Oklahoma 75.3. Traveling called, and turnover number 3 against Oklahoma. Indiana State leading 13-12. 12 minutes and 23 seconds left to go in the first half. The winner will play Arkansas Saturday afternoon. Arkansas 73-62 over Louisville here in the first game. New man in the ball game, number 30, Heaton. Turnover number 5 against Indiana State. A substitution now for the Sycamores, number 44. Leroy Staley, 6'4", 193 senior, into the game. Beal getting it back to Curry. Let's go from 20. Oh, McCullough put it through. John McCullough doing a tremendous job. Here comes Kerry Carabine into the Oklahoma lineup. Carabine will replace Curry.
What a super job by McCullough. He's the clutch player for Oklahoma, the most valuable player in the Big 8, only 6'4". Aaron Curry up for the shot goes. Watch McCullough come out of nowhere, catch the rebound right here, up above the rim, stuffs it in. He goes to the line for the three-point play.
The foul charge to Leroy Staley, his first, and Oklahoma has a 15-13 lead with 11:50 to go. That was Staley driving through. Carabine, McCullough, Whitley, Stotts, and Beal in the Oklahoma lineup. Bird along with Heaton. Going now for Indiana State. Long pass for Stotts, batted out of bounds down there. Carl Nix. And Leroy Staley in there now, as we've told you. So Bill Hodges changing up his lineup just a bit. McCullough into Whitley. Oklahoma leading by 2. Whitley out to Stotts.
Tough matchup there with Nix on Whitley. He's as quick as Whitley, and he's giving him some problems.
McCullough fouls. John going for the rebound underneath. Foul on McCullough will be his first. That is team foul number 4 against Oklahoma. 11:14 to play. We're in the first half.
Oklahoma showing zone right now with a 2-3.
And the shot through the zone. And good by Bob Heaton. Heaton shooting 52% from the field. Heaton had that 50-foot shot to tie New Mexico, 83 all, and then they went on and won it in overtime, remember?
The amazing thing about that overtime win, they played without Nix, Gilbert, and Larry Bird in that overtime and still won.
Kerry Carabine over to Whitley. Into McCullough. Makes the fake and is fouled. The basket is good. McCullough having a very fine first half. 17-15 Oklahoma. And another chance for a three-point play.
Well, Jay, he's a super intelligent player, John McCullough. You notice there, he got the fake. He got his defensive man up in the air, was coming at him. As soon as he started to come down, he went up with good strength and balance, still was able to get the ball to the hole. He gets a chance for his second three-pointer.
Reed back into the lineup for Indiana State, replacing Staley. The foul charge to Staley, his second. McCullough was 7, going for 8. Got it. McCullough puts Oklahoma up by 3. We're nearing the midway point of the first half. Whistle and a call underneath. Let's see who they called it on. Into the lineup, Alex Gilbert again to replace Brad Miley for Indiana State. Foul charge to McCullough, his second. That's the 15th foul against Oklahoma. 10.5 minutes to go in the first half here at Riverfront Coliseum. Sellout crowd of 17,000 sitting in. Bob Heaton. Got it. Heaton is a 76% free throw shooter, a junior. 6'5", 192. to 17. Oklahoma by 1. Whitley coming down to Carabine. McCullough. Carabine back out to McCullough. Carabine's an excellent outside shooter. And Stotts, the big kid from Bloomington, Indiana, is a pretty good shooter from outside, too. Here's Whitley. Whitley to Carabine. Missing from 17. Larry Bird rebounds. Steve Reed comes back for the Sycamores. 10 minutes to play, first half. Reed. Nix. Foul, Whitley, Oklahoma.
That's a tough
Whitley's
matchup.
First personal.
That's a tough matchup right there both ways. You're looking at Whitley covering Carl Nix. They're both quick kids, and when they got the ball, one's going to have the advantage.
16 foul against Oklahoma. Pass coming out, and it'll belong to Indiana State. Right in front of our broadcast position, Bob Heaton will put it in play. There's Bill Hodges, and you look at his record on this year, the first-year coach. The basket put up and good by Nix. He has 6 points, and Indiana State retakes the lead 19-18. Stotts into Beal. Beal over Bird. Got it. Oh, nice shooting by Al Beal.
Well, Al can do that. He can go out to about that 12-foot range, turnaround jumper. Larry Bird is not the best defensive player individually one-on-one. He's a heck of a team defensive player. He has the court, knows it, and plays extremely well team defense.
That was Carl Nix banging it down, and Indiana State's back on top, 21-20. They're trading the lead here. Pass under to Beal. Beal gets it, batted away. Here comes Nix. Nix drives, stops. Foul charged on Stotts in the lane. Away from the ball. That's the 17th foul against Oklahoma.
Action away from the ball. A good look at Terry Stotts. I think he's trying to check off Larry Bird.
Oklahoma asked for a timeout. 8:57 left to go. First half. Timeout on the court. Indiana State 21, Oklahoma 20. Pause now for station identification. This is the NCAA Television Network. Here's a score from out of the West at Provo, Utah. DePaul with Coach Ray Meyer and their brilliant freshman Mark Aguirre leading Marquette 31-25 at halftime. Our score, Indiana State by 1, 8:57 remaining first half.
And the Sycamores shooting the basketball very well. 9 for 14, 64.3%. Oklahoma 9 out of 20 for 45%.
Here's Carl Nix out of Englewood High School in Chicago, where he was all city. Bird gets the rebound. Back to Nix. Put it up. No good. Foul call. Or was it goaltending? It was goaltending. Credit the basket to Nix.
See the action. Larry Bird again causing the play. He's got such vision. Look at that. Away from it. Goes up right here. And out of our action right there, they called the ball goaltending. I think Beal was up against the glass, slapped against the board.
Carabine around to McCullough. Now Whitley. 23-20 Indiana State. Here's a foul charged against Reed of Indiana State. That's number 1 on Reed, the second, or check that, the 4th team foul against Indiana State.
Foul number 23, Steve Reed.
Indiana's biggest lead on a couple of occasions has been 3 points. Oklahoma is led by a couple.
With Nix out of that lineup, I think you're going to see that man right there, Raymond Whitley, come into play a little bit more. I really feel Carl Nix has neutralized Raymond Whitley in the early going of this first half.
Whitley played at Manual High School in Indianapolis for Fred Belzer. 23-22 now, Indiana State. 8.5 minutes to play. First half here in Cincinnati. The winner goes up against Arkansas. Bird shot off and out of bounds. Oklahoma's basketball. Arkansas earlier beat Louisville 73-62. And of course we gave you that score from out in Provo at halftime. DePaul 31, Marquette 25. Terry Stotts for the Sooners. Stotts driving in. Foul on Indiana State's Bob Heaton.
Heaton right there took Terry Stotts off the hook because a little spin, which is his favorite move. He got in here. He's in trouble. Going to force that shot right there. But Heaton gets him with the body. They call the foul, and that's really getting off the hook.
Back into the lineup, number 10, Aaron Curry, replacing Raymond Whitley for the Sooners. And Stotts will go to the free throw line. Stotts is a junior, very smart performer, was an all-stater at Bloomington, Indiana North. Played for George Fielding. He's a pre-dental student. Terry Stotts. Now here comes a lemon across from somewhere. Stotts gets this one down, and the game is tied for the 4th time at 23. We've been tied at 2, at 4, at 6, and now at 23.
Jay, what I've really been impressed on this end is Larry Bird with his shooting is going to the offensive board. He shoots, and he really fights the man to get back to that offensive board. He's been beating Terry Stotts to that offensive board several times.
8 minutes to go in the first half. Reed holding on out front, looking to Heaton, trying to set it up against a zoning Oklahoma Sooner club. Bird takes the jumper. Tough shooting luck for him, got it back, and scores, and he's fouled.
There was the case again. He is quick with his first move. He's beating Stotts, going back to the basket. You see the action right here. They do a good job of getting the ball to Larry Bird. He goes up, watch Stotts. Well, we lose him right there checking off. The ball will come off, but there's Bird. Got inside Stotts, goes up, and Al Beal picks up his 3rd personal foul.
Heaton going out of the ball game for Indiana State. Substitution coming in for Oklahoma. Lester Pace, the freshman from Wichita, Kansas. Miley is back in for Indiana State.
I think that Larry Bird is going to really put some pressure on Stotts on the offensive end, too. He has never had to play defense this tough or this hard, and that's going to tire him. I think it's going to affect his outside shooting.
Whitley back into the Oklahoma lineup. Carabine coming out. So it is Stotts, Whitley, Curry, McCullough, and Pace going for Oklahoma. Miley, Nix, Bird, Gilbert, and Reed in the lineup for Indiana State. 7:25 to play. Indiana State up by 3 at 26-23. First half here in Cincinnati. This is Nix in trouble, stolen away by Curry. Long pass to Whitley. Whitley picked up by Reed, puts it up and got it. Nice move there, and Whitley has 6 points, and it's 26-25. Indiana State by 1, 7 minutes to go, first half. Oklahoma and Indiana State, the winner to meet Arkansas. Ball was kicked by McCullough.
You'll notice McCullough around the ball an awful lot. He's covering Miley, who is not a good outside shooter. He's a high percentage shooter, but all inside, mostly from feeds from Bird. McCullough will be helping off an awful lot.
Reed out front for the Sycamores. 6 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the first half. Shot was put up by Nix. He gets it back, and it's 2 points as he got it shoveled off to Gilbert. Gilbert dunking it through.
Okay, there's another play where Curry released his man. He didn't block off Nix on the shot. The rebound came long. He came in, and that resulted in the play.
Pace turns and puts it in. Pace, the freshman.
Lester Pace came off the bench in the Texas game and really did a great job. It played about 3 minutes. He blocked 2 shots and hit a field goal.
Beal sitting it out right now. Bird battles back and scores. Bird with 10. 30-27 Indiana State. 6 minutes to go. Stotts out to McCullough. Hits the 20-footer.
That's the kind of perimeter shooters Oklahoma is right there. They're better off where they can catch the ball, get into the flow of the shot, and put it up, rather than putting up the shot on pressure, putting the ball down on the floor and going for a dribble or two.
Indiana State leading at 30-29. Bird underneath. It's picked away, though. A turnover, the 6th against Indiana State. Here's McCullough. And Oklahoma can retake the lead. Stotts holding on out front. Gives it off to Aaron Curry. Curry backing in. Got it. The Sooners are back on top, 31-30.
One thing Oklahoma has going for them, they have good balanced scoring.
Can the Sooners finally inflict a loss to Indiana State? Can the Sycamores continue toward the Final Four? Here is a foul or a turnover. It's a turnover. They call walking against Nix.
Good helping defense that time as Curry come in to help Whitley out. Forced Nix really to take his eye off the ball, turned it into a traveling violation.
Leroy Staley back in for Indiana State as Alex Gilbert goes out. Oklahoma up by 1, 31-30. McCullough taking it from 17, got it. And that's the biggest lead in the ball game for Oklahoma, 3 points. 33-30 the Sooners. And the Oklahoma folks are whooping it up across the way. Bird in underneath, foul by Stotts. Stotts commits his second personal.
And Stotts has got his handful, and he is really hustling. Like I say, we've seen him play several times. He's really hustling on defense, but Bird is a hustler himself. He never quits going to that basketball. He's always on the move.
There's Dave Bliss. There's Larry Bird. 2-year All-American out of Spring Valley High School in French Lick, Indiana.
84% from the line. Something that I learned, he eats and writes with that left hand. He's an ambidextrous kid.
That's right. I saw him signing some autographs with the left hand the other day and realized that myself. All right. A timeout is called.
There's a timeout on the court.
Timeout on the court with 4:39 left in the first half. Oklahoma 33, Indiana State 32. second half of that game at Provo. Marquette now has taken the lead over Marquette, 42-36. This broadcast is copyrighted 1979 by the National Collegiate Athletic Association. All rights in it are reserved. Any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this program without the express written permission of the NCAA is prohibited. Oklahoma up by 1. Turnover. Larry Bird stealing it away from Pace. Pass comes off the Knicks. Missed it in underneath, and it is put up and in. Leroy Staley scoring. Staley now has a total of 2 points. That was his first fielder. And Indiana State retakes the lead. Here is Knicks stealing, driving, and a foul charged on Curry. Tremendous quickness here.
Yes, great quickness. The Knicks, a tremendously quick ball player, causes a lot of things to happen. You'll see the steal down there. There was a bad pass by Curry into the middle. He got it to the wrong side of Pace as he's moving to the baseline. Great pass by Bird. He comes down, lays it up, but Staley comes right back. He's there in shape to follow, and he got the 2.
Knicks for 2, and he's got the first one. Indiana State up by 2. And if Dix gets this one down, that'll be 3, and that will tie their biggest lead of the ball game. Rebound, Pace out front, batted out. Oh, a foul charged on Lester Pace. What action here. They're applauding the play, and well they should. It's just tremendous.
Beautiful pass. I said it before, you're seeing that what I consider the finest pass that I've ever seen to play the game. They're not applauding the foul or going to the line. They're applauding Larry Bird's tremendous pass.
Leroy Staley, the senior from Tampa, Florida, shooting 66% at the line. Indiana State now with its biggest lead in the ball game, 4 points. 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go, first half. Whitley getting it to Curry. Off to McCullough. Back out to Stotts. Stotts makes the fake. Gives it underneath. Shot put up by Pace. No good. Bird getting it out to Nix. Nix stops and pops. Rebound Curry. And he wisely slows it down with 3.5 to go.
Both clubs shooting very well, Jay. Oklahoma almost 54%. Indiana State's moved it up to 60%.
McCullough with a pass to Beal, and Al Beal hits it. 37-35, the Sycamores by 2. Splendid first half here. Bird in close. Got it. That's an extremely tough shot to take, and he does it with such ease, and it's soft as it can be.
Well, they look for him all the time, and Stotts, to me, looks a little tired on defense. He was trailing that time, did not have the same movement. He has really got his work cut out for him.
Whitley is fouled on the arm by Reed. Heaton going to come back into the Indiana State lineup. Number 30, Bob Heaton, back in to replace Carl Nix.
There was Bird just minutes ago. They go to him. Look at Bird go to shape up. Stotts on him right there. He goes right up over the top. Really a soft release on the ball. Feathers it down for 2.
Whitley at the line. Missing the first of 2. Whitley now has 7 points. 39-36, Indiana State by 3. 2:40 to go here in the first half at Cincinnati. Arkansas has defeated Louisville 73-62. The winner of this one plays the Razorbacks in the Midwest Final Saturday afternoon. Nice move by Brad Miley. Miley has 4 points, 41-36. Biggest lead in the game, 5 points, Indiana State.
That's what I don't think you can do right there on Bird's help. I think you have to let him get whatever he's going to get and try and shut off those passes where they get the layup.
Foul charged to number 30, Heaton. Terry Carabine will come back into the Oklahoma lineup to replace Whitley. There is Heaton, his second personal foul. We have 2:16 remaining to go in this first half. There is Kerry Carabine. Carabine from Maryville, Indiana, fine shooter. And Curry at the free throw line. Larry Bird took quite a fall on that last play, banged his head. Free throw by Curry. Aaron is an 81% free throw shooter. Plays very well in the pressure situations, Gary.
He has. He's a good player. He's a good shooter outside. He's been a swing man. He can go at either forward or guard for Oklahoma.
41-37. Indiana State by 4. 2:10 to go. First half. Reed coming down against Carabine. Off to Bird. He fires from 20. Got it.
I tell you, he is something else. He's got the finest touch, and the instincts for the game on the offensive end is just tremendous.
Stops driving in the lane. Carabine banking it up. No good. Rebound to Heaton.
Poor shot by Kerry Carabine. I've said this before. Kerry likes to get that pass and step in and shoot it. He's not near as effective having to put the ball on the floor and go one-on-one against you.
Tough shooting luck from the corner that time. Shot was put up over there by number 44, Leroy Staley. Oklahoma asking for a timeout. 1:29 to play in the first half. Indiana State now with a 6-point lead, their biggest, at 43-37. In the first game here tonight, Arkansas 73-62 over Louisville, and the winner of this Indiana State-Oklahoma game will go up against Arkansas here on Saturday afternoon. Indiana State, the Sycamores, 30-0 coming into tonight's game after an 86-69 win over Virginia Tech last Sunday at Lawrence, Kansas. In that one, Bird had 22, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 block shots. Oklahoma 21-9 out of the Big Eight. The Sooners 90-76 last Saturday in what many thought was an upset over Texas. Whitley with 25 and McCullough 17 as Oklahoma shot 62% from the field. And there is, well, he's got Larry Bird's number on. Doesn't look much like Larry, though, with that headgear on.
They're beating the drums for Larry right there.
I don't blame them.
I'm telling you, no one's going to argue that seeing this game tonight, Larry Bird voted Player of the Year, everybody's Player of the Year, sensational player, and a great young person.
With 9 minutes remaining at Provo, Utah, Marquette up by 3 over DePaul. 1:25 to play in the first half here. Curry getting it into Beal. Beal shoots over Bird. Rebound taken down by Staley for Indiana State. Out to Bird with 1:10 to play. Bird from 25. Tapped up. Good. Leroy Staley. Staley has 6 points. And it's an 8-point Indiana State lead. Missing. Stotts battling for the rebound. He's got it, but Bird took it away. I think I said Al Beal a moment ago. I look out, and that is Lester Pace in there, of course, for Oklahoma. Beal sitting it out right now. Back into the lineup, number 42, Alex Gilbert for Indiana State. Going out will be Brad Miley. We have 23 seconds remaining in this first half. Indiana State up 45-37. Blowing out to this 8-point lead here in the latter stages of the first half. Carabine brings it down for the Sooners. Off to Aaron Curry. Back out to Stotts. 10 seconds to go. Four seconds. Curry. Midwest Regional. The end of the first half of play. The score, Indiana State 45, Oklahoma 37. We'll be back in a moment with our halftime show. Leading scorer in the game, Larry Bird was 16. Nix has 11 for Indiana State. McCullough with 12. Whitley and Curry with 7 each for Oklahoma. Halftime, 45-37. Indiana State leading Oklahoma. Gary Thompson will be coming up in just a moment with his halftime guest, Eddie Sutton, the coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. But now we pause for station identification. This is the NCAA Television Network.
With me here at halftime is Eddie Sutton, coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. 73-62 winner over Louisville in a ball game that was a lot closer than that at the end, Eddie.
Much closer, Gary. You know, we played very well the first.
Pabst is brewed to be the best, natural with no artificial ingredients, and you can taste it.
And by these fine Indiana State University boosters, by Quesennes, Lockray Roofing, the Amax Coal Company, the Indiana State Bank, Wendy's, Willis Marvel's Appliances, Wabash Federal Savings and Loan, Adams Pontiac, the Larry Hellman Agency, Meese, Terre Haute First National Bank, and MAB Paints.
Miley with 4, Bird 16, Nick with 11.
We'll be back with the second half action here in Cincinnati right after these messages.
A look now at some more of that first half action as Indiana State leads 45-37. Some interesting plays. We're going to have a chance to show you those right now. First coming up, you're going to see Larry Bird. Right in here, Nix comes in, dumps off the pass to Bird. Watch him now. Dump off to Alex Gilbert, comes right in, slam dunks it. And Bird is so tough with the ball. He has great vision. He can see the man. I feel, as I've said before, you've got to just play him, make him go up and shoot it. If he's going to get 35 or 40 points, you've got to let him get it and cut everybody else off. Here's a look at another play right here. Curry for Oklahoma goes up with a shot. Here come a great play by John McCullough, their co-captain. He goes up, follows the shot with an offensive rebound, stuffs it, went up and made the free throw for a three-point play, at that time giving Oklahoma a 15-13 lead in the early going. Now look once again at the fabulous Bird, Larry Bird. We're going to see him here. Coming up, he's going to follow his own shot. This thing we've talked about so much in this first half. He's continually on the move. He has great court sense in playing the game. He can feel the ball, anticipate where the ball's coming out. With 16 points in that first half, 8 rebounds. Watch right here. He'll go up for the shot. You'll see him now where he beats his man, comes right in there, gets on the offensive side, comes up and lays it in. He too was fouled and got a chance for a three-point play. Here's a look at some of the halftime statistics. Indiana State, 18 out of 31, 58%. Oklahoma riding right behind at 50%. One of the big keys in the ballgame, I think, rebounding. Al Beal picked up 3 fouls. They're out rebounding them 20-10. Bird and Nix show. Larry Bird, 16. Carl Nix, a tough guard, with 11. For Oklahoma, John McCullough, the co-captain of the 12, supported by Curry and Whitley, 7 each.
And we have an infraction on the jump. Ball will belong to Oklahoma. Number 42 for Indiana State, Alex Gilbert, went up early. Whitley, McCullough, Stotts, Beal, and Curry going for Oklahoma. Whitley takes one from 20 and hits it. It is Reed, Nix, Miley, Gilbert, and Bird for Indiana State. Starting the second half of play, the winner of this one to meet the Arkansas Razorbacks. Miley, round to Reed, Nix underneath, Miley is there! Oh, this is a splendid passing cup.
Well, that's why Miley shoots 61%. He gets a lot of those shots from Larry Bird.
Stotts in along the baseline, makes a move over the hoop. Beal gets it and scores. Nice play by Al Beal.
Good job, McCullough. Or rather, Stotts that time intimidated, tried to push that ball up in a hurry. A lot of force right off the glass. Not a good shot.
Beal now has 6 points in this game. 47-41. Indiana State up by 6. Reed into Bird. Bird underneath. 2 points. Alex Gilbert.
What a display of passing he put on. Every time you leave to help, he burns you, and that's what the great players will do. The shooter, the passer, it takes the pressure off. You got to go back and let him get his.
Ball belongs to Indiana State. That is the 7th turnover in this game against Oklahoma. There is the coach of the year, Bill Hodges, 36 last week, native of Lebanon, Indiana. Bird from 25. Tapped up, offensive goaltending. Bird knew it right away.
Again, but you see that guy, he has a nose for the basketball. He's always going to the hoop. He beat his man after the shot again and gets to the offensive board. There he comes right in. Bird, that ball still hanging, part of it above that cylinder. Bird knew it. Offensive goaltending call.
Back live, this is Whitley with a fall-away jumper, and he got it. Nice soft touch. Whitley now has 11 points. 49-43. The lead is 6 for Indiana State.
Watch for Whitley, as I mentioned. He's got Reed covering him now rather than Nix, and they're going to Whitley, and he's that kind of player. He likes to penetrate into that free throw line or to the dotted line and then come back with a jumper. He's very effective.
Miley getting it around to Nix. Nix driving, stopping, shooting, and hitting.
Oh, I'm telling you, great quickness there. Nix started on the penetration. Whitley's going to pick up, cover up on there. He goes right up for the shot.
51-43, both clubs starting strong here in the second half. Whitley off to Curry. Curry banks it up. Tough shooting luck for him there, in and out. Here comes Larry Bird for Indiana State. Lost it. You won't see him do that very often. Beal back to Stotts. Stotts to Beal. Travel. Beal walked. 51-43, 8-point Indiana State lead. They led at half, 45-37. We have 17 minutes to play. The winner goes up against Arkansas Saturday afternoon. Bird underneath, put up, no good by Nix, but he is fouled.
Larry Bird, a good shot of the Bird right there. He's setting this crowd on fire with his passing. As you mentioned, the finest passer I've ever seen play in the ball game. Right to Nix inside, comes away with the foul right there.
Foul is charged to Aaron Curry. It is his third. Is Nix on the line. Nix averaging 19.9 a game, the second leading scorer on this club. Bird, of course, averaging nearly 29 a game. Battle for the ball, and the officials look at one another. It'll belong to Indiana State. Bird and Beal battling for the ball, going full tilt.
Here's a guy that's all everything. Player of the year, he is hustling as much as any player on that court, diving for balls. And in the games that I've seen him before, he'll stand right in there and take any charge.
Bird playing with a fractured thumb on his left hand. 16 and a half minutes to play in this game. Bird trying to get it in underneath. Stolen away. Aaron Curry, turnover number 9 against Indiana State. Stotts from 20. Tough shooting luck. Bird rebounds. Outlet pass to Nix. Nix picked up by Stotts. Off the Reed. Missed it. Tapped up and in by Alex Gilbert, and Gilbert is fouled.
He's fouled, I think, by Al Beal, which would be his 4th foul. And a big turnaround. Oklahoma cannot leave the big guy inside. Indiana State getting the type of game they want. Nix coming down here, drops it off right there. The Reed comes up, and there's Staley. He'll go up right there, and Beal up over the top, gets him.
That's 4 on Beal.
Gilbert shoots 1 free throw.
Gilbert may not be much of a free throw shooter, but he really does impress me with his quickness. 53-43, biggest lead in the game, 10 points now for Indiana State, and Oklahoma wants to call timeout. 16-10 to play. A timeout on the court. There is a final score at Provo, Utah tonight. Marquette, coached by Hank Raymonds, defeats DePaul under Ray Meyer, 62-56. That avenged an earlier defeat. DePaul got a one-game victory in Chicago a couple of weeks ago over Marquette. Here's Stotts from 15 feet along the baseline, missing. And Alex Gilbert got the rebound, and the Sycamores have a 10-point lead with 15:50 to play.
Indiana State just controlling that defensive board. At halftime it was 20-10 on rebounds. Oklahoma is not getting any second shots.
Larry Bird banking it up and in. Got every shot you can imagine, and what a touch.
Well, when they make their offense, they roll their offense, they keep it with motion, and get him freed up.
Beal right over Bird. You look around this arena, Gary, and you'll see faces in the crowd like Bobby Knight and Pete Newell and Dave Cowens.
I wonder why Cowens is here.
With Red Auerbach. 17,000 plus, the largest crowd ever to see a college game in Ohio. Bird underneath, intercepted by Curry. Turnover number 10, Indiana State. McCullough to Beal. Got it. Nice play.
Good pass by McCullough in there, and Beal, good touch, good hands, laid it up.
The Sooners are back within 8 at 55-47. 14:50 to play. Larry Bird still guarded by Stotts. Smiley around to Reed. Nix picked up by Curry. Nix in heavy traffic, missing a tough one. Rebound, Gilbert. Got it. Gilbert has played very, very well over the last 3 or 4 minutes. Gilbert now has 10 points. And he has 6 of them here in the second half. We're going to have to correct the score for you, ladies and gentlemen, and we're sorry, but we got the wrong score on the DePaul-Marquette game. DePaul won it 62-56. DePaul has beaten Marquette. So it is the Blue Demons of Ray Meyer in the finals in the West against either UCLA or San Francisco. Bird traveled. Substitution into the game. Number 44 for Indiana State, Leroy Staley. Staley replacing Alex Gilbert. So DePaul's Blue Demons have beaten the Marquette Warriors. And 65-year-old Ray Meyer has to be a very happy man tonight. He has that great freshman, Mark Aguirre, on that DePaul club. I saw them play last Sunday, Gary, at Pauley Pavilion in California. DePaul's a great club. Curry off to McCullough. McCullough missing from 17. Larry Bird with a rebound.
Didn't get the basket by McCullough, but a good drop-off pass by Curry that time. He forced the other defensive man to double up on him. He dropped it off.
Bird from 25. Bang!
I'll tell you, he is so tough. He can just do it all. He goes inside, goes into post up. Then you can't overplay him that much. He pops out and gets it, and he's got 30-foot range. 20 points for Bird as Raymond Whitley comes right back, and Whitley now with 13. It's a 9-point lead, Indiana State. We're coming to 13 minutes to play in this game. Nix from 20. Rebound, Beal. Big Al Beal high up to get that one. He's saddled with 4 fouls, but he's still playing. Dave Bliss knows there's no tomorrow. He's got to go with him all the way.
Carabine and Pace are getting set to come into the game for Oklahoma. Curry, fall-away jumper. Missed it. Beal taps it out. And it'll belong to Indiana State. Carabine, number 21, and Pace, number 54, in to replace Beal and Curry. 12:42 remaining to be played. Indiana State up by 10. They led earlier by 12 on one occasion. Oklahoma's biggest lead has been 3. Larry Bird Bird from 20.
Okay, Larry Bird is in that streak right now. He's starting to look for the shot more, I think, than even the passing. You can feel it. He's got the touch. He's been knocking everything in.
Here's Whitley. Out to Stotts. Stotts from 20. Off the back. Out it comes. Staley.
Good save. That time.
Very good save.
That last possession down here, Stotts is second-guessing himself. Instead of taking it up and shooting, he double-pumped it, then put the ball back up into pressure.
Bird wanted the ball. They shouldn't have thrown it. McCullough coming and banks it in.
Good body control by McCullough that time, waiting to see on the break. Finally got down there, stopped up, did not go into the man, got it off the glass for 2.
Indiana State leading by 10. Beal will come back in for Oklahoma. Foul on Pace. Reed will come back in for Indiana State. Beal replacing Stotts now in the lineup for Oklahoma.
Number 54, left base.
And going out is Carl Nix for Indiana State. And also into the lineup, Bob Heaton now for Indiana State.
I mentioned Stotts, a very tired individual sitting on the bench, having to chase Larry Bird.
Shot was put up by Staley. McCullough couldn't save it. 11:35 to go. The Sycamores up by 10. Bird. Boy, you say he was feeling it. He's really popping now. 24 points. 63 to 51. 12-point lead. The freshman, Lester Pace, put it up. No good. Bird rebounds. Here comes Reed. Bird wants that basketball. He's hot. And he is fouled. No basket. No basket. They overruled it. Foul was way before the shot, and I can't believe he made it.
I can't either. Going off balance, but he's got some strength up there. And the touch, even from 25 feet out there, is just so soft. It just nestles in that basket.
Stotts back in to replace Lester Pace. Pace, a pretty good-looking freshman, though. 11:05 to play. From 25, the shot was put up by Staley. Rebound McCullough.
And McCullough, a good rebounder for his size. Only 6'4", he knows how to position out. A pretty good jumper.
Stotts driving in. Foul called on. Number 44, Leroy Staley. Back into the lineup for Indiana State, number 42, Alex Gilbert. Leroy Staley coming out.
Leroy Staley is there.
Earlier, Arkansas defeated Louisville 73-62. Again, the final score in that DePaul-Marquette game. It was DePaul winning it as Stotts fires and misses. Beal goes for the rebound. He's out of the game. 5 fouls. And that really hurts the Sooners. Al Beal will leave with 10:44 to play.
Good look at Al there as he goes to the bench. Oklahoma's been hurting on the boards anyhow, and without him, they're going to have to rely on that freshman, Lester Pace.
Beal leaves the game with 10 points. Timeout on the court. 10:44 remaining. Indiana State 63. Oklahoma 51. They're playing Boomer Sooner. There's the time remaining. Indiana State has boomed on top, though, by 12. And with 10:44 remaining, or 10:34 remaining, you see the score. And the problem, Al Beal out of the ball game. 10 points. And Lester Pace, the freshman from Wichita, Kansas, has got to stand in there for him.
That's a real task for Lester Pace, too. He played well, as I mentioned, against Texas, pretty well in the first half, but he's not seen that much action until just here recently.
Brad Miley getting it around to Gilbert. Back out to Nix. Bird is out of the lineup at the moment as we have Reed trying to get it into Miley. Stolen away by Carabine. Carabine, Pace, Whitley, McCullough, and Stotts for Oklahoma. Whitley going in, loses it. Taken by Gilbert. Here's Heaton getting it up.
The Oklahoma bench that time, and Dave Bliss crying for the foul. Thought that Whitley got hammered by Nix.
And a whistle and a foul charged on Miley. There is Al Beal at the end of the bench looking up at the clock. Sad statistics for him at the moment.
Number 40.
That foul charge to Miley. It is his second team foul against Indiana State with 9:55 to go in this game. Indiana State in control by 12, but McCullough losing the pass from Stotts. Oklahoma playing like a tired ball club at the moment. And, of course, in the first game here, Arkansas was up by 17. Louisville scratched back to take the lead, but lost it 73-62. And Oklahoma needs to put on a big rally as the clock turns toward 9.5 minutes to play. Reed out front, Bird out of there. They're resting the big guy. Shot by Gilbert, no good. McCullough with a good rebound. McCullough on the run, going to hold it up. 63-51. Indiana State. Whitley over to Stotts. Stotts back out to McCullough. Carabine from 20. Pace goes up, and a foul on Pace as he tried to get the rebound. Aaron Curry will come back into the Oklahoma lineup. Stotts will go out.
And that's 4 fouls in the big freshman, Lester Pace.
9:10 to play. Reed for Indiana State, bringing it up. Driving is Nix, and a foul charged on Nix, offensive foul. Nix commits his first personal. That's the third team foul in the second half against Indiana State. Larry Bird will come back in. Bird will replace Miley in the Indiana State lineup. .53-51, Indiana State. Carabine puts it up short from 20. Rebound Bird. Foul on McCullough.
I think you hit the nail on the head a little while ago, Jay. I think Oklahoma's had to play at a terrific pace. On defense, Indiana State continually moving, and I think it showed up the perimeter shooting, and they're just having to go at a tougher pace than they've had to before, and it's showing up on their outside shooting. They've had some good shots. They're not shooting well in the second half.
McCullough on the foul, his third. Bird at the line. Larry Bird with 24 points.
Larry Bird at the line.
Bird very popular with his teammates. A little standoffish, and maybe understandably so, with so many of the new people he's having to meet. What a great performer. Rebound Gilbert. Gilbert bang!
Oh, what a shot.
66-51. Indiana State by 15. 8.5 to play. Shot was put up by Whitley. He's fouled by Gilbert.
As you're going to see, a tremendous move right here with Larry Bird on the free throw line. The ball's going to come out right and deep. And Alex Gilbert gets it right there, comes down, the turnaround one-hand shot, banks it in, a tough shot. How can he do that when he can only go 28% from the free throw line?
Whitley scoring. Whitley now with a total of 14 points. And he misses this one. It's 66-52, a 14-point lead for Indiana State with 8:20 to go. Heaton for Indiana State. Out to Gilbert, off to Reed. Heaton. Back into the corner to Gilbert, and out to Nix. 8 minutes to play. Nix driving into the lane, almost lost it, picked it up, and scores. I'll tell you, the Sycamores are solid.
Well, Nix 19 almost 20 points a game average, and a good shooter, a very aggressive player, a tough, hard-nosed competitor.
Bird steals from Pace. Pass to Nix. Nix drives and scores. 70-52. Timeout, Oklahoma. 7:30 to play. Timeout on the court. The score. Page 70, Oklahoma 52. There again is that DePaul victory, 62-56 at Provo, Utah in the West. And DePaul now will play either UCLA or San Francisco. They're playing out there in just a couple of minutes. You got a good look at some of the Indiana State band and cheering section there. Curry from 15 feet. And Pace got the rebound, put it up, no good. Rebound, Larry Bird. 7:20 to play.
Wherever the ball is, the Bird is. He just has great instincts for that basketball.
Reed on the move, giving it off to Bird.
Bill Hodge has done an excellent job with this club. We haven't mentioned it, but Alex Gilbert was a junior college player last year, as was Carl Nix. Carl Nix was with Indiana State 2 years ago, went to junior college to play 1 year so he could get playing time and come back in. So he has molded this group around Larry Bird and done an excellent, excellent job.
Miley is going to come back into the lineup for Indiana State to replace Gilbert. But Gary Hodge is really, of course, taking the job from Mr. King after all of the problems that Bob had. I visited with Bob yesterday. Looks good.
Take a good look at Raymond Whitley right now, who's a good penetrator. As I said, he's been more effective on Reed than when Nix has covered him. He's a good jumper. He stops right here, goes up over the top, has good elevation on the jump, lays it off the glass, and Reed catches him across the arm.
And right now, Whitley in the game with 16 points. He is the high man for Oklahoma. Larry Bird with 25. I'll tell you again, earlier tonight, the Arkansas Razorbacks defeated Louisville 73-62 in a very fine basketball game here. And that DePaul Marquette score again for you, 62-56, DePaul over Marquette. We have 6:52 remaining here with Indiana State up by 16 points. The Sycamores led 45-37 at halftime. Well, I have just a moment, Gary. I know I would echo your sentiments and the sentiments of our producer-director, John Crow. We were terribly saddened, of course, to hear of the passing of Ken Rawlinson, the marvelous man who was the head trainer of the Oklahoma Sooners. Randy Helms has taken over. Ken Rawlinson was a great gentleman and one of the leaders in the training profession, who's made such tremendous advancements in recent years.
Well, Jay, I certainly echo those sentiments, and we pass on our sympathies to his family. Ken, I've known him for a number of years, back to my playing days some 20 years ago. A great gentleman that is sorely missed by all those people in Oklahoma and the rest of the people around the Big 8 Conference.
We come back to action here in Cincinnati before the largest crowd ever to see a college basketball game in the great state of Ohio, and Indiana State leading 70-55. And let's see if Whitley can make it 70-56. Stotts coming back into the game for Oklahoma. Pace, the freshman, going out. Well, he didn't get the shot there. He only got the one on the three-pointer. Thought he was there on the 1-1 for a minute. Now we are set to watch Indiana State try and protect this lead. Nix under to Bird. Bird holds on. Oh! He knocked McCullough about 3 feet, and there's no call, and Dave Bliss and his assistants are really upset.
The Bird got away with one right there. I tell you, that should have been an offensive foul.
Curry in tight. Banks is up there. Nice play by Curry. And the Sooners trying to battle back, 72-57. Down 15. 6:10 to play. Here's Nix from 20. Back out to Nix.
And one of the big things for Oklahoma in this second half is that the Sycamores have shut down John McCulley. At 12 at half, he's only scored 2 points in the second half.
Reed shoots it. No good. Reed gets it back. Heaton underneath the Nix. Nix misses. Foul on McCullough, underneath.
Oklahoma just no match on the boards with Beal out of there particularly. They're not a big ball club anyhow. They depend so much on him. And Indiana State just owning the boards now on both ends.
Foul number 35.
McCullough's fourth personal foul, and Nix will go to the free throw line. 5 minutes and 45 seconds remaining. 72-57 Indiana State. Some of this big crowd beginning to wend their way home. For Carl Nix, 6'2" junior out of Chicago. Indiana State playing in its first NCAA tournament at the Division I level. Rebound Stotts, 73-57. 16-point lead for the Sycamores. Whitley. Oh, nice shot by Whitley along that baseline on the move.
The Oklahoma guards just doing it on their own right now, just taking solo jobs. Curry and Whitley taking turns, and Whitley doing the most damage.
Cutting it down, a foul on Carabine of Oklahoma. Kerry Carabine charged with a foul at 5:24 to play. There's a good look at Kerry from Maryville, Indiana, the starter on this club. Foul is charged on Whitley and not Carabine, excuse me. There's Whitley. Reed at the line, 1-1.
At the line, Steve Reed.
Steve Reed, the point guard from Wausau, Indiana. I played at Community High School. That's his first point.
He's that kind of a player. He gets his second point. He doesn't look to shoot. He leads the club in assists, 208 assists on the year, and a good quarterback. If you back off of him, he can hit the shot.
Carabine over to Stotts. Stotts into the lane, puts it up. Miley rebounding. Out to Bird, stolen by Stotts. Off to Whitley. Carabine from 25. Got it. 75-61. Long pass to Reed. Reed goes and put it up. He was fouled. Foul charge to Whitley.
Here's he come out right here. Whitley coming over. Reed takes the ball away from a good move. Switches it to his right hand, goes up one-handed. Whitley comes down across the left hand, and Reed goes to the line for two.
Reed shooting two. Reed now has 3 points. Bird with 27. Gilbert has 12. Nix with 18. 77-61. Indiana State. 4:50 to go. Whitley down to Curry. He lost it out of bounds. Indiana State will have it. That is turnover number 12 against Oklahoma. Sooners trying to press. Indiana State getting it up. Here's Larry Bird. Heaton along the baseline puts it up. It is good. He's fouled by McCullough. McCullough has to leave the ball game.
Well, Heaton at 6'5", 192, a good strong player. Good sub off the bench, average of 7.2. And you're going to see the action right now. Nix got the pass down there. He moves in, protects the ball away from McCullough. Good body control, gets it up off the glass, and he gets a chance for a three-point play.
McCullough getting a fine hand as he goes out. Bob Heaton with 6 points will be on the line, and into the game for Oklahoma will be Kyle Dodd, number 23, a sophomore from Dallas, Texas. Dodd has only played in 7 games this season and averaged 0.4 points per game. There's John McCullough, native of Lima, Ohio. Said he'd like to play in the pros or maybe for athletes in action. Fine gentleman, the Big Eight's most valuable player this last season. There is Kyle Dodd, who's come on to take over for him. Heaton hitting the free throw. Indiana State 80, Oklahoma 61. Pretty academic at this point.
That's right. School's out here. You'll see Oklahoma's offense just has come down one-on-one right now. Get the shot up as quick as possible. Hope you can hit, maybe control Indiana State. Come back on him.
Whitley just scoring that last one. Here comes Heaton for Indiana State. Ball stolen away. Aaron Curry driving and missed the layup, got it back, puts it up and in, and he is. It was not fouled. They're just indicating it would have been goaltending had it not have gone in.
Funny play right there. The defensive man let him go. I think it surprised Curry. He lost the ball as he went up, continued over, got it on the other side of the basket, finally got to him.
Staley drives in. Kyle Dodd on the foul after a long pass from Larry Bird. 3:56 remaining in the game. Indiana State leading by 15.
Foul is on number 23, Kyle Dodd.
Look at Kyle Dodd there. A lot of Oklahoma fans remember his dad, a quarterback on the Sooner football team back in the 50s.
Indiana State, the #1 team in both the polls, with the player of the year and the coach of the year. Staley on the line. Pace returns to the lineup for Oklahoma to replace Kyle Dodd. Staley, the senior out of Jefferson High in Tampa, Florida, been averaging 7.3 a game. He has 6. Now he has 7. 81-65, Indiana State. 3:50 to play. Whitley coming down against Reed, and Reed bumped him. Foul on Reed. Bill Hodges wants a timeout. Indiana State calling time. 3:50 to play. Timeout on the court. The score, Indiana State 81, Oklahoma 65. Gary Thompson, Jay Randolph here at Riverfront Coliseum, Cincinnati, Ohio. The Midwest Regional semifinals tonight. Arkansas has won their way to the final with a 73-62 victory over Louisville. Indiana State in command here, 81-65 over Oklahoma. Whitley putting it up, comes up short, rebounded in under there by Staley. Out to Nix. Hodges called timeout after that last foul, Gary, and I think he told his kids, just take it easy now and keep things, in hand. There's Bird along the baseline, and he is fouled by Stotts.
Good pass that time on the baseline to Nix. They put that ball away from the baseline, away from his hand. I think we're going to have a chance to see it right there. See Nix with that left hand. Gets it away from the defensive man. Larry Bird does a good job moving to the basketball, and then gets clobbered by Stotts from behind.
The player of the year with 27 points, an 84% free throw shooter.
Larry's one of those kind of players that he's not fast. If you were to run him in a 100-yard dash, he's not going to be that quick, but he has a good quick step. He uses his fakes well, and it's really quick on the first move.
Dave Bliss says he has such tremendous hands. Oh, and of course, that gives him the abilities that he has. There's Carabine from 25, forcing one. Rebounded away by Staley. Indiana State leading 83-65, up by 18. 3:10 to play.
Nix is a pretty tough player, too. He's got great body control and quickness. You saw there, they double-teamed. He picked the ball up low, up on the lead, and gets clear to the pass.
The Sycamores play so well together.
They're always on the move. Like I say, that's a physically tiring game for Oklahoma SB. They're continually moving.
Foul charge to number 22, Carl Nix. Nix is second personal.
Carl Nix is second.
And that is only the 4th team foul against Indiana State in this second half. 2:50 to play. 83-65 Sycamores. Shot put up by Curry. Rebound taken by Heaton. Out to Nix. Underneath. Up and in. Leroy Staley.
Carl Nix showing that he can pass the ball, too. People thought that ball was going to the lane to Bird. He looked one way, took it down underneath in a nice, easy basket.
Staley now has 9 points. Here's Curry. Ball tapped away. Heaton on the move. Heaton drives and scores it. 87-65. 22-point lead, Indiana State. Whitley off to Curry. Curry missing. Rebound, Bird, jump ball. And into the game will come Ingram Purvis, number 43 for the Oklahoma Sooners, to replace Pace. Ingram Purvis, 6'9", freshman, Ocala, Florida, in for Oklahoma.
As I said, you notice the Oklahoma shots coming up short now and have been for some time. It's been a physically tiring game.
Dave Bliss and his staff over there, Doug Ash and John Underwood, is rather passively looking at the situation. Nix cutting into the lane, put it up, he's fouled. 1:49 to play. We're going to see Rich Nemchek into the game, along with Tom Crowder now for Indiana State. Nemchek and Crowder will be coming in, and Bill Hodges is going to put a new fivesome in. Also coming into the game will be Eric Curry for Indiana State.
I tell you, he's going to wait a little bit when he gets them all cleared out. Then he'll have a man in there for Bird, and he's going to get the applause from the fans that he truly deserves. He's a great basketball player, one of the finest guys that I've seen play in the game.
He's not sent the substitution in for Bird, but for those who are still here, Bird will get a well-deserved ovation. Nix on the line. Now come the substitutes, and Bird is going to leave. And let's listen. They're on their feet. They're standing all around this arena, applauding the player of the year, Larry Bird. There's assistant coach Mel Daniels, who played with the Pacers, Terry Thimler, working with Bill Hodges. Now another substitute comes in, number 32, as we told you, Eric Curry, replacing Nix. And the celebration continues over there with 1:45 to play.
That's a tough twosome, I tell you. Larry Bird goes out with 29, Carl Nix with 20.
Reed coming out. And coming in, Rod McNeely. McNelly, excuse me. M-C-N-E-L-L-Y, McNelly, out of Speedway High School. Speedway, Indiana, suburb of Indianapolis. McNelly, 6'2" freshman. Whitley on the line. One more. 89-66. Indiana State. Rebound taken down. Lost. Whitley has it. Tried to get a pass in underneath. Stotts trying to get it to Curry. Ball batted out of bounds, and Stott will put it in play with a minute and a half to go. Stotts out to Carabine. Carabine driving in. Puts it up, no good. The foul on number 24. You see them working on the injured thumb. They're taking off the wrapping, and they will, of course, get set to put the bigger wrapping on it. They're taking it off very slowly, the wrapping on that injured thumb. Scott Turner is also in the game for Indiana State, a freshman from Bedford, Indiana, 6'3", traveling called. And the celebration of the Sycamores continuing off to our left. 89-66 Indiana State. Purvis Ingram, or Ingram Purvis. I always like that. The two first names and the two last names, whichever you have. Tapped up and in. The basket credited there to Rich Nemchek. 91-66. Carabine hits it. 91-68. 1 minute to play. Foul on Whitman. Nemchek on the line. Indiana State's band and the cheering section celebrating, singing the songs as you look at Larry Bird, Mr. Basketball. 93-68, Indiana State. 55 seconds to go as Whitley comes down. Put it up, no good. Rebounded away by Nemchek. Nemchek off it goes. The shot put up by Curry, no good. Traveling called underneath. 44 seconds to play. It'll be Indiana State and Arkansas Saturday afternoon here. Terry Stott scores from 17. 93-70. Indiana State by 23. Half a minute to play. Nemchek coming up. Stolen by Stotts. Long pass Whitley. Whitley, 2 points. 93-72. Indiana State. 15 seconds left, a foul charge. Bill Hodges and his fine staff, and Sports Information Director Ed McKee. From Oklahoma, Athletic Director Wade Walker, basketball coach Dave Bliss and his staff, and Sports Information Director Mike Trips. Pass going down, and the ball put up. At the buzzer, Rod McNelly put it up. Oh, it's all over. There is Larry Bird being congratulated. 93-72. Indiana State. And we will be back with more. The final again, 93-72. Final comments coming up in just a moment.
Central Peninsula area all the way down to the Keys. Just partly cloudy with that increase in clouds scooting across the panhandle the balance of today. Water temperatures are great. You got a weekend plan? Make it out in the waterways. 73 at Clearwater, 81 at Miami Beach. And air temperatures today remain quite warm. Don't forget the suntan lotion on up into the 80s.
The Weather Channel presents the new 1993 weather calendars, packed with exciting weather information for every day of the year. The 1993 Weather Guide Calendar with phenomenal weather events is filled with interesting weather facts, stunning color photographs of dramatic weather,